Now you get the equipment and I will tell you, so you can see for yourself that it is in the way I have told. Tn a permanent magnet bar between the poles. There is a CN neutral part where CA mag much going in or out, but on the earth there is no place where the beers are not going IA or out, but the magnets are running in and out at pole ends more than at the equator. 1G too far away from the magnetic pole, so all my magnets are guided tab dual north and south pole magnets that are passing by. Ed and 60 IG on. That my location for, by the general stream of in rough estimation the Earth's south magnetic pole is 200 UG, degree 0 FBM the same words and the Earth's north magnetic pole THS north and south pole sagnets TE run in northeast and southwest dissection. Test Dabanan, Homestead, Florida, WBA. 1945 aquatic current by Haas. Wow, you get the equipment and I will tell you, so you can see for yourself that it IE in the way I have told, plus get a permanent magnet bar 4 inches long O-shaped magnet that is strong enough to lift from 10 to 20 pounds. An Alnico magnet about 3 inches long, 2.5 inches wide, 9 inch thick, hole in the middle and poles in each end plus several feet in length of hard steel fishing line. Line when it is not in coil it stays straight and copyright a soft steel welding rod 1/8 of an inch thick and 3 feet long. From the fishing wire and the welding rod you will make magnets or compasses, 3 ND if you hang them up in fine threads by middle and keep them there they will be permanent magnets. When you are making a magnet pole in the welding rod use U-shaped magnet south pole magnet, RO make north pole magnet in the rod and use U-shaped north pole magnet to make south pole magnet in the rod. You can drag the magnet over the rod from end to end, but never stop in middle. TSKX pound you stop in middle there will be an extra pole so it will disturb the iode TET circulation. Use iron pound dialings to test the rod if there is any roddets in the MIDI, and if there is the filings will cling to it. Then drag the permanent magnet over the rod and it will take it out. To take the magnet out from rod ends approach or touch the rod end with the same kind of magnet that is in the rod, by dipping the rod ends in scum filings, you will see how it works. Of the steel fishing line just long enough to go in hang one by middle foam where there is no other magnet or metal around. Now you will have a permanent magnet or compass to test the polarity in other magnets. For more delicate use hang the magnet in spider web. No test the strength of that magnet use iron filings. Copyright put the U-shaped permanent magnet 2 feet west from the hanging magnet. Asterisk hold the north pole magnet in level with the hanging magnet, then you will see that the south pole of the hanging magnet is turning to you and the north pole magnet away from you. Asterisk now put the south pole permanent magnet pole in the same level, this time. North pole magnet will turn to you and south pole magnet away from you. This experiment shows 2 things, one that the magnets can be sent out in atriiditrayan, and the other whatever kind of magnets you are sending out the other kind of magnets are coming back to you. ES on non hashtag take 2 pieces of steel fishing line wire, put them in U-shaped magnet, hold a little while, take them out, bend a little back in one end and hang them up, sent make it 20 that one magnet's lower end is north pole magnet and the other south pole magnet make it so that they hang 3 inches apart. Put north pole north side, and south pole south side. Copyright now take the 4-inch long permanent magnet bar, hold north pole in north side and south pole in south side. Copyright rake slowly up to the 2 hanging magnets, then you will see that the hanging magnets are closing up. Copyright now reverse, put north pole of bar magnet south side and south pole north aid, this time when bar magnet approaches the hanging magnets will spread out. Male experiment shows that north and south pole magnets are equal in strength and that the streams of individual magnets are running one kind of magnets against the other kind, Nels 3. Plus cut a strip of a tin can about 2 inches wide and a foot long. Pat the north pole of the U-shaped magnet on top of the strip, and dip the lower end in ison illings, and see how much it lifts. Plus now put the south pole on top and see how much it lifts. Plus change several times, via you will see that the north pole lifts more than the south pole. Copyright mo put the north pole magnet under the iron filing box, and see how much it pushes up. Copyright now change. Put south pole magnet under the bex and see how much it pushes up. Copyright both the several sinas, chen you will see that the south pole magnet pushes up more than north pole magnet. The experiment shows again that on level ground the magnets are in equal strength. Plus now take the 3-foot long soft steel welding rod. It once already magnetized a permanent magnet. Hang it in a fine thread so it is in level. Plus now measure each and you will see that the south end is longer. In my location at Rockgate, between 25th and 26th latitude and Bitic and Sidi Firat longitude west, in 3-foot long magnet the south pole end is about a 1/16 of an inch longer. Farther north it but at equator both ends of the magnet should be equal 5 south hemisphere the north pole end of magnet should be EAS lat FSAE. All my hanging magnets or compasses they never point to the Earth's magnetic pole, neither to the geographical pole. They point a little northeast. The only reason I can figure out why they point in that way is, looking from the same geographical meridian the north magnetic pole is on, the south magnetic pole is GNE 100 and Euro 15 longitudes west from it. In rough estimation the Earth's south magnetic pole is 260 miles west from the same meridian the Earth's north magnetic pole is on. That causes the north and south pole magnets to run in northeast and southwest direction. My location is too far away from the magnetic pole so all my magnets are guided by the general stream of individual north and south pole magnets that are passing by. Magnetic /2 having to do with a magnet or magnetism, ing from one to another. 7. Zone thing that flows, as a stream current /2 pot, IHE Wakwe Sekansi Dictionary, Thin Odazaran. Now I will tell you what magnetic current is. Magnetic current is the same as electric current. Current ISS wrong expression neatly, it is not one current, they are two currents. One current is composed BT north pole individual magnets in concentrated streams, and the other is CE post of south pole individual magnets in concentrated streams, and they so are cutting one stream against the other stream in whirling, screw-like fashion, and with high speed. One current alone if it be north pole magnet current, or south pole magnet current if cannot run alone. So run one current will have to run against the other. Direction reverse one direction. With batteries from metal by acid. How the currents run when they exit a car battery and what they can do. You will see the principle of how permanent magnets are made by north and south pole individual magnet currents running in a single wire from a battery. This magnet making with a single wire, it illustrates how all magnets are made. Each pole south or north is made by their own magnets in the way they are running in the wire. Amen McGee by OALBS, POC Gate 165 Mo X will tell you how the currents are running when they come out of a car battery, and what they can do. Now get the equipment. First put a wooden box on floor, open side up, cut 2 notches in middle so Joel can put a 1/8 of an inch ehic and 18-inch long copper wire reross the box. Put the whiz one end east, the other west. Stay yourself west, put car battery south side of the box positive terminal rast, negative terminal west, get 2 flexible leads and 4 clips to fit the battery and the bare copper wire, select the east end of the copper wire with positive terminal, clip the effect end of the copper wire with the west side flexible lead, tee the connection with negative terminal open. Break 2 pieces of the steel fishing line 1 inch long, put each piece by middle across the copper wire, one on top of the copper wire and the other under. Hold with your fingers, now touch the negative terminal with the loose clip, hold until the copper wire gets hot. Make then off, now you have 2 magnets, hang then up by middle in fine thread. The upper magnet will hang the way it is now, but the one below will turn around. Break 5 inches long piece of the fishing line, put the middle of the wire across and on top of the copper wire, touch the battery, hold until the copper wire gets hot. Dip the middle of the wire in iron sings, then you will see how long a magnet can be made with this equipment. Break or cut several pieces of the hard steel fishing wire as long as to go between the poles of the U-shaped magnet. Pen hold 2 pieces of the steel wire ends up and down, one wire south side of the copper wire, and the other chord side, the lover ends just below the copper wire. Hold tight and touch the battery, hold until the copper wise gets hot, on now hang them up by upper end just above the copper wire, touch battery, the south side magnet will swing south, and the north side magnet will swing north. I few oro places on top of the copper wire, the ends just a little over the copper wire hove endo lying on copper wire, one pointing south and the other north, hold tight touch battery, hold until the copper wire gets hot. Take off the one pointing south is south pole magnet and the one pointing north is north pole magnet equals as degree 00 plus ends was on tie of dha conver when punting bout, other below pointing mess, bcs adist emer eecedh lay soxine ek ssotes aiding mer. Ce nasahi do ss hang up by tail end above the copper wire, touch the battery, both magnets will swing north. Degree equals a 5 cubic centimeters of Amit Comet wy Sona Lorelaine, hook OE1s plus cut 6 pieces of fishing wire 1 inch long. Copyright put them by middle on top and across the copper wire. Asterisk hold tight, asterisk touch battery, copyright hold until copper wire gets hot. Plus take off, equals, a degree pot equals plus now put glass over the copper wire, put those 6 pieces of magnets on glass, on top of the copper wire just so the ends don't touch each other. IKO asterisk touch the battery, they all will turn across the copper wire, equals OEC, I 8 degrees. Failari. Plus now pull 3 to south side and 3 to north side in the same way, they tie now but about 1/2 of an inch away from the copper wire, touch battery, they all will jump on the copper wire. Equals OM at O earn EETOS, A backslash A OO degree on a DP and GE degree and add degree SE plus now roll all 6 together, let loose. And you will see that they won't stay together. Magnetize one piece in U-shaped magnet, put north pole ends on the copper wire, UT south pole west, touch the battery, the magnet will swing left. Now put south pole bass side put north pole west side, this time the magnet will turn right, G48 co GP plus, cake glass off. 3 tacks one piece of hard steel fishing wire, 3 bip in icon filings and see there are no magnet in it 1 SCSDIS Hoya ENE wire up and down, the lower end on middle of the copper wire and Ola 8. Touch the battery Ola until the copper wire gets hot to take Saint off. 1 Roman CLFE intron eftings and you will EE that at 46 no manyot. A, tang EORA equals Q, Y. Go make magnets with currents from batteries and dynanos with a single whiz. The odal will have to be put on the whiz in such a way #O that the magnets which are summing out of the wire will be running in the metal starting from the middle of the metal and run to the end and not from end to middle and across as they did this last time. You have read that to make a south pole in a coil end that is pointing to you, you will have co-run positive electricity in the coil in clockwise direction 7s and tell you that the positive electricity has nothing to do with making a south GAG and CT pole in the coil. Each pole south or north is made by their own magnets in the way they acts running in the wire. This magnet making with single wire, it illustrates how all magnets are made of. Lax TC and pay SSSS. Some com New York EA or DUE Jock OE98BS in a car battery. The north pole magnets run cut of positive terminal and south pole magnets run out of negative terminal. Both kinds of magnets are running, one kind of magnets against the other kind, and are running in the same right-hand screw fashion, By using the same whirling motion and running one kind of magnets against the other kind, they throw their own magnets from the wire in opposite directions. That is why if you put a magnet metal across the copper with the one end is North Pole and the other end South Pole. /43 plus cat 4 pieces of wire size 16, 6 inches long, 2 copper, and 2 SOR FON, bend one end of each wire back so the clips can hold it better. Use copper wire first. Put both wires in clips, connect with battery, have the wire ends square. Output the loose ends together, and pull them away, then you will notice that something is holding you back. Copyright, what SESE? They are magnets. When you put the ends together, the North and South Pole magnets phone wire to the other, and in doing it they pull the wire ends together. You will see the space left where the magnets when you put the ends together, the North and South Pole magnets acts passing from one wire to the other. T-cent they cannot pass over to the other wire, they expand the wire and put any GH expanding bubble with metal sparks running out. When the bubble is cool, break it up. Now pat the soft iron wire in the clips, put the loose ends together, and plus pull then AV, this time the passing magnets hold the wire ends together stronger. Copyright pot the ends together many times, then you will see which wire end gets red first, and which will make the bigger bubble in the end. And watch the little spark coming out from the bubbles. Copyright stretch the bubbles out while they are in liquid form, then you will see in the bubble that something is whirling around. Those little sparks you see coming out of the bubble, they are not the magnets, feet magnets are Che ones which throw the sparks out of the bubbles. Men all the magnets that are in the wire, if they cannot pass over to the other. They acts expending Che bubble and running out of it and carrying the metal sparky with them. When the bubble is cool, break it up, then you will the space left where the magnets were in, i.e. VRA4, IWI, /00 near. Batteries are not balanced. Sometimes there is more of North Pole magnets than there is South Pole magnets. They should be equal. His includes generators which do not run the South Pole magnets in frame or base. Vaseric CME OISOLI. ROOE gear and get 2 pieces of lumber, 1 by 6 inches, a foot long, * nail them together so that one lies flat on visor and the other on top, the edges up and down. * out a notch in end in upper piece, 4 inches deep and as high as to hold piece of wood or brass that would hold needle points in ends and have a hole in middle to hold the 3-foot magnet. 4 balance the magnet good so it would stop on its right magnetic position. Copyright now put the car battery south side positive terminal east and negative terminal west. Copyright connect the east end of the copper wire with positive terminal sent and connect the west end of the copper wire with the west side lead, hold the copper wire, just shove the magnet 1/4 inch worth of plus touch the battery, then you will see the magnet swinging east. ISO and Mo put the battery north side, positive terminal east, negative terminal west, * connect west end of the copper wire with negative terminal, plus connect fast end of copper wire with fast side lead. * glue the copper wire on top of the magnet 1/4 inch south of agnet and hold the copper wire just above in square and level, % touch the positive terminal, then you will see the magnet swinging west. TF the battery is right, magnet strong enough, and the magnet rod balanced good. They will repeat the same thing every time. On SAEC mitten, we run the following experiment, you will see that the battery is not balanced white. Copyright put the copper wire across the box, one end east, the other end west, * connect one lead a foot west from east end * and the other lead with west end. Copyright hang a magnet in spider web, copyright put the magnet in same level with the copper wire. North Pole keep the copper wire end a little away from magnet, connect east lead with positive terminal, tap the negative terminal several tires with the loose clip. And see what the * change the tapping, * move the box and copper wire to the South Pole end, repeat the same thing. Then you will notice sometimes the copper wire end pushes away the North Pole magnet, and sometimes it pulls it in, and the same thing happens with South Pole magnet, and sometimes it does nothing. It shows the battery is irregular. Some see ort got by exad letter M in. Bach Kate CS copyright connect the leads with batteries terminals to make a loop, plus keep the leads on the same level with battery, copyright drag a hanging magnet over the loop and the connections between the batteries terminal, you will see that one end of the magnet keeps inside the loop, and the other. So tade, and the same thing happens when the magnet crosses the connection between the terminals. Nye experiment indicates that the North and South Pole magnet currents were FOT only running from one terminal to the other, but are running around in and Cbit and are not only running one time around, but are running many times. Scund until the North and South Pole individual magnets get thrown out of the wire by centrifugal force, and by crowding. While the North and South Pole magnets were in their own terminals, they only possessed pushing power, the pulling power they acquire only if the other rind of magnets are in front of them, like the permanent magnets. If you put the opposite magnet in front of it, then they will hold together the same way you have done with the 6 inches iron pieces of copper and soft iron wire. How the magnets get in there? AEX said in the beginning. The North and South Pole magnet, they are the cosmic force, they hold together this earth and everything on it. X-3. Some metals and non-metals hold more of the magnets than others. The North G and D South Pole magnets have the power to build up and take down. For instance, in welding, the magnets take the welding rod down and put it on the welding. In electroplating, they put one metal on the other, and if you burn a metal too much in an electric furnace, the metal will disappear in air. The North and South Pole magnets were put in the car battery by a generator. When the North and South Pole magnets went in the battery, they built up a charge that held the magnets themselves. Later on the acid takes the matter in parts and separates the magnets and sends them to their OM terminals, and from there they come out. I'm other batteries. The acid takes the zinc in parts and sends the north pole magnets to positive terminal and holds the south pole magnets by itself for negative terminal. When the connections are made, the magnets will come out of the battery and me come out until the zinc will last. When the zinc i.e. gone, the magnets are gone. Pound 09. The same is true if you put iron in acid and some other metal terminal, and when the connections are made the magnets will battery, but when the RON is gone the magnets are gone, too. For the other out of this should be Muffissian to see that the north and south pole magnets are holding together everything. You saw how magnetic currents are made in battery from metal by acid. Next I will tell you how magnetic currents are made by permanent and electric magnets, and then without either. Making magnetic current with permanent and electric magnets, and without either. Smart Krenba IEAHRD, RK8 MKS. This time you will make an equipment that can be used for 4 purposes. Type magnet, transformer, generator, and holder of perpetual notion, equals bent Ixon or soft steel bar 1 1/2 inch in diameter, bent in AUP catch prong a foot long, and 3 inches between the pronga. I ho spools from brass or aluminum 6 inches long and big enough for the bar to go in. Plus mine 1500 turns of insulated copper wire, size 16, on each spool. Plus per on as close to the bend as it will go. Connect the battery with the coil so that each current is running in both. Connect the cane vine, and so that one end of the bar is north pole and the other south pole. Now you have an electric magnet. OSTTESTI is time the same thing will best transformer. Trit MOTB economical, it is only to show how a transformer works. Wind the coil of 1500 turns with insulated copper wire, size WI bed and on a spool. Lisa than 3 inches iron, so that 1 inch end. Half square iron XED can go in EAS, bat 2 rods, 1-3, the other 6 inches long. If possible have then from laminated ISON. Get 2 radio blue bead, 6 to 8 volt light bulbs. Now connect 1 light bulb with the 3 inch coil, each a coil without a core between the loose ends of the iron prongs. Connect the 6 inch coils with battery, negative terminal open. AP the negative terminal, then you will see the whiz inside the light bulb turn federal 0 degree 75 equals, CTLA copyright put iron core in the coil asterisk S hole, 3 tap the battery, this time it will make light. OS. Init 3 and equals ITT equals OAPD and EQ. Why did LE not make just as much light the first time? The battery put G.2 EG which sagnet in those iron prongs the first time as it did the TACE INE5, but as you see, the coil did not get the magnets. Now you see the soft iron has a lot to go to make magnetic currents. What ISON has equals 1 OT to do with making magnetic current. Magnetic currents, or if you want to call it electric current, make no light. We only get light if we put obstructions in the light bulbs. I'm the light bulbs, the wire is so small that all magnets cannot pass through easily. 60 they heat the wire up and burn and make light. If the wire in the light bulb had been as large inside as it is outside, then there would be no light. Then those individual magnets which are in the coil would dissipate in air. Both north and south pole individual magnet currents which came out of the car battery and went in the transformer were direct currents. But the light in the bulb was caused by alternating currents. OE current alone cannot run. TE run they have TE none TAS there. Uven 9 that alve there. AL currents alternate $0. AP/DP alternating pole equals direct pole. You transform currents in kind. Now I will tell you how to transform currents in strength. To make higher voltage you wind the coil with aller wire and more turns, and to have less voltage wind the coil with bigger wire and less turns. 1. To me difference now is that this transformer makes alternating currents from direct currents, and the power line transformers use alternating currents to make alternating currents. Arrow aim degree 030 SA or SWAU in this transformer, the iron prong ends run in the same magnetic polarity, magnet poles. But in power line transformers the polarities, magnet poles, alternate. In power line transformers the currents only are in motion, and in this transformer the currents are in motion and you are, 2. OE5 to 90Y all O. Now about the generator. In the first place all currents are alternating. To get direct currents we have to use a commutator. Transformers and generators of any description are making the currents in the same way by filling the coil's iron core with magnets and letting the iron core push them out and into the coil. Connect the battery with the electric magnet. It will be a field magnet now. Put the 3-inch coil between the iron prongs. And take it out, do it fast, repeat it, then you will have a steady light in the light bulb. AIOS Amos RACRNI8s, SWMOU and the field magnet are a generator. One suppose you had a wheel and many coils around the wheel turning, then you would be making all kinds of light. Do not make the machine, I already have the application for patent in the patent office. I made 10 different machines to fake magnetic currents, but X found the combination between field magnets and coils the most efficient. Plus put the coil in slowly and take it out slowly, then you will have no light. At will show, to make magnetic currents, the time is important. Plus put the cinch tong square red on top of the 2 iron prongs, put good EOJT and connect the battery with electric magnet for a little while. Now disconnect the battery, copyright connect the light bulb with the electric magnet the same way it was connected with the battery. Now pull off the 6-inch long bar, do it quickly, then you will see light in the bulb at -SPI idle 27s, EACA email pay I'm you connect the battery up again with the electric magnet, put the bar across the iron prongs, hold a while ice connect the battery. while the electric magnet holds perpetual motion. If not disturbed, it will last indefinitely. I held it in this position for 6 months, and when I pulled off the 6-inch bar I got just as much light out of it as I got in the first time. His experiment shows that if you start the north and south pole individual magnets in an orbit, then they will never stop. OE Aniines SIOSH net NLM. ES core RT, Oaks inch, 12.7 m, E4G times equals 1300 Wagok 8266R, Gen INH 84 IESCTA, inch, 7.62 m, STNA dots inches, 2.61 centimeters, spec phalage, 762 times 10 to the power of 0, cinch, 1227 m. Perpetual MOTICN holder rigs want/SSTVED. Morsecom Hyavolila, PO-OE9s BS. The hanging magnets that hang up and down, they show that there is motion inside the bar. Sent hold the perpetual motion holder north pole magnet, or pole end east, and south pole magnet terminal, or pole end est, plus now raise it up slowly to the south pole hanging magnet, then you will see the both pole hanging magnet swinging south. Now put the perpetual motion holder under the north pole hanging magnet WP slowly, and you will see the worth pole hanging magnet swinging north. Registered Knoll 7 on IA copyright. Get that Alnico magnet, and make it so you can turn it wound if possible more than 2000 revolutions a minute. Copyright. Connect the light bulb with the perpetual motion holder, plus put AE on the spinning Alnico magnet in the hole Betvian prongs and the squaretron bar, plus now spin the Alnico magnet around and see how much of the light you get. Copyright. Now take the iron bar off, then you will get more of the light. TT shows that if it TE clobed, some of the magnets which were in the iron prong will turn around in an orbit, and will not come out. But when the orbit is broken, then they will run in the call and the result will be more light. EGLA equals Smear YS Uzarok 838 SS. Put a paper box with plenty of iron filings in it on the horizontally spinning Inico magnet, then you will see how the spinning magnet builds up ridges and ditches. Plus now put the magnet so that it can be turned vertically to spin the magnet, then you will see the filings running against the motion and building up ridges and ditches. Plus put on finer filings, then there will be finer ridges and ditches. Copyright. Spin one way and then the other way, then you will have some rough idea how magnets build up the matter. Lectane Skinclead. You made magnetic currents in 3 different ways, but in principle they all were made exactly in the ease way. Magnetic currents are made by concentrating, then dividing, and then shifting the existing north and south pole individual magnets from one place to another. MAME CORRWYE Ohm Gleason. Rookcare Demo X will illustrate how my best machine is doing it. One will use only one coil, and one U-shaped permanent magnet without using the winding that the machine uses to increase the permanent magnet strength. Plus if you had a permanent magnet that the coil you use in the electric magnet would go in between the prongs of it, then that would be good to demonstrate, but if you have not, then use the same one you have. Plus get an Ixon core the same dimensions as in the 3-inch coil, but long enough to go between the permanent magnet prongs. Wind the same number of turns and connect with the light bulb. What a OOM and paste a U-shaped permanent magnet. Very good. Bend up, prongs down, north pole north, south pole south. Plus now push the call through the prongs from west to best. Copyright. Do DT fast, then there will be light in the bulb, plus 9, M int, Aki. Now push the Kofi and stop in middle, and then Pya again. This time you ES a senior A, you had 2 lights the first time also, but you had not noticed they came in quick success ion. When you pushed the coils middle up to field magnets middle, the currents ran in one direction, and when you pushed the coil away from the field J magnets middle, then the currents reversed, then ran in the other direction. That is why you got 2 light lashes while the coil passed through the field magnet only one time. Smorik Mummer by Witz Lenin, Rockgate 90 SIXS. Here is the way in which the north and south pole individual magnet currents ran while you pushed the coil from west to east through the field magnet. Plus take the core out of the coil, wind 1 layer of wire on the core and make it so that the north side of the winding wire's endpoints past and south side of the winding wire's endpoints GE. Then you push the coil to the middle of the field magnet, the north pole magnet. Current came out of the wire end that is pointing east, and the south pole magnet current came out of the white end that is pointing west, but when you pushed the gall away from the midi of the field magnet the currents reversed, then north pole magnet current came out of the coil's wire end that is pointing west end. South pole magnet current cage out of the coil's wire end that is pointing west. With the same winding LF the north pole field magnet had been south side, and south pole field magnet north side, then the running of the currents would be reversed. When currents reverse they reverse the sagnet poles in the call. Fibery time when the call is approaching the field magnets, the currents which are made in the call during that time are making magnet poles in the cot 1's core ends, the same those field magnet poles they are approaching, but during the time the coil is visiting those currents are making the coil's magnet poles opposite to the field beneath the EXE receding from OXT SBS SAW 4 SE PA 00/27 SS IS 4 VS. White you have the EML coil handy. T will tell and run south pole magnet current in the wire end that points west, and north pole magnet current in the wire end that points east. Asterisk now north end of the COS1 is south pole and south end of the coil TS north pole and now run worth pole magnet current in west end of the wire, and end south pole magnet in east end of the wire. This time the north end of the coil will be worth pole, and south end of the coil the south pole. Elani 2 SBG. You made the 1-inch long magnets with 2 single wire, but if you had copyright the same size of wire in a coil you now have and would asterisk put a bigger steel bar in the coil, then you would have bigger and stronger magnet. But to make a stronger magnet yet, you would have to plus wind more layers on top of the coil that you have now. When you were making the small magnets with a single copper wire, you wasted too many north and south pole individual magnets. You only got in the steel wire very small part of the magnets that came out of the copper wire. You are still wasting the north and south pole magnets. You do not get one half of the magnets in the steel or iron bar from those which are in the coil. To get more magnet out of a coil and put the coil in steel or iron tube, then the tube outside the coil will be a magnet the same as the coil's core ut. The magnet poles will be opposite. TTENO at the same coil end. If the core end is north pole, the tube end will be south pole. In this way you will get most again much magnet out of the coil and in the core and tube. You can do better yet, asterisk join one end of the coil's core end with the same metal, joining core with IB, make 2 holes in end of metal for the coil wire ends to go out, plus fasten a ring on top. Now you have the most efficient Li and electric magnet for lifting purpose. XT wastes no magnets that come from your battery or dynamo. E Camry NYS yields is yield, ACE GCE80SIXSE the coil out of the electric magnet, run the currents in the coil, put at hard steel bar one end to the coil's north pole, hold a while, take away, now the bar is a permanent magnet. That end at coil side is south pole magnet, and the other north pole monovet now Kai's permanent magnet can make other hard steel bars, in permanent magnet, DUT every magnet that it makes will be 8 weaker magnet than itself. Put this permanent magnet in the coil's hole, reverse it, put bar's north pole end in coil's south pole end, run current in the coil for a will, take the bar out, now you have a stronger permanent magnet, but the poles are reversed. Theo shows that the stronger magnet can change the weaker magnet. Aker Kameroi Sunim, Rock 8 ones. When you were pushing the coil through the U-shaped magnet you got 2 flashes in the light bulb with 1 passage through the U-shaped magnet, and X showed you from which ends of coil's wire the currents came out while they made the flashes. Underscore in S store end with MAVE so you one say tadly bone tint SIIE in T anyway X Oslo, plus take the light bulb off the coil, plus put the core in it, asterisk connect the coil with a loop that would reach 6 feet past from the U-shape magnet. Keep the loop end a foot apart, stretch south side wire straight, make it so it cannot move. Get those little hanging magnets which hang one end up, the other down, hang the south pole magnet on the loop wire, now push the coil through the U-shaped magnet and watch the hanging magnet. First it will swing south, then north. Cow EIAE and BES, WEE plus now hang worth pole magnet on the wire, watch again while you are pushing the coil through the U-shaped magnet, this time first it will swing north, then south, so OO, Q, equals E Ray Ho. Copyright Wang both magnet, watch again and you will see that both magnets at the same time first they swing to their own aid and then to the other side. 1. The hanging magnets do not swing while you are pushing the coil through the U-late magnet, then the U-shaped magnet is not strong enough. The U-shaped magnet shall be strong enough to 1 foot 20 pounds. You can put 2 magnets together or use electric magnet, and still better you can put the coil in electric magnet, then you won't have to push it. Then you can sit down and tap the battery and see the hanging magnet swinging. If you want to use the electric magnet, be sure that the north pole is in north side, and the south pole in south side, and put the coil in the prongs in the same way as it is now. NDE, Rock OTE number 8 Moti will tell you what happened to the U-shaped magnet while you pushed the coil through it from west to east. Plus set up the 3-foot magnet so it can turn, copyright put the coil with core in it in the U-shaped magnet, now approach the 3-foot magnet south pole with the U-shaped magnet south pole. Copyright as soon as the 3-foot magnet begins to move you stop and mark the distance, take the coil away, approach again as soon as the 3-foot magnet begins to move away, then stop and mark the distance, how much strength the U-shaped magnet lost while you were. Then you will in and halfway out, of the U-shaped magnet. Yeah, though U-shaped magnet was losing its strength up to the time it began to break away from the iron core, but during the time the U-shaped magnet broke away it regained K strength. The breaking away from the iron core recharged the U-shaped magnet, then it became normal again and ready for the next start. During the recharging the new supply of magnets came from the air or the Earth's magnetic field. Smears comment hashtag YMeso Seaman Rock Air 19s 2 You already know that before the coil got in between the U-shaped magnet prongs those little individual magnets were running out of the U-shaped magnet prongs in all directions, but as soon as the coil's core came in effective distance from the U-shaped magnets prongs then these little individual magnets began to run in the core and coil and kept running until the core broke away from the U-shaped magnet prongs. Now you see those little individual magnets ran out of the U-shaped magnet and ran in the soft iron core, but the soft iron core never held the equals magnets, it pushed them out. TE prove it you copyright put 5 or 6 thin iron strips on edge, asterisk slant just so they will not flop over, asterisk now approach to the ends of those strips with a magnet and you will see they flop over, plus hold the strips little loose by the ends. Then they will spread out. X think the I enough to show that the soft iron never held those magnets. TT does bed them out. AZ soon as those little individual magnets get pushed out of the soft iron core and they run in the coil. PE1 they run in the coil they are in bulk form. The coil's part is to divide those little individual magnets from bulk form in small paths. Me coil IE not necessary to make magnetic currents. Currents can be made with a tingle wire. The coil is necessary to increase the amount and strength of the currents. The coil is similar to any cell battery. One cell alone does not amount FO anything. To be good, many cells have to be in a battery. The same in a coil to be good many turns have to be in a coil. Copyright Nakumin FR Rico ARSIE. Some GRRE by Lori Lazidi 8, AEXOE 3945%. When the magnets that are in bulk form enter the coil, then the coil divides thon in small paths. It is done in this way: when the bulk magnets enter the coil, they fill the COFLOS wire with north and south pole individual magnets. North pole magnets pointing toward south pole U-shaped magnet and south pole pointing toward north pole U-shaped magnet. Now the wire in the coil is one continuous magnet. One side of the wire is south pole and the other north pole. Wow, we have those little north and south pole individual magnets in the wire, but they are not running in the way we want. They are running across the wire. We want the magnets to run through the wire lengthwise, but there is only one way to do it: we have to increase the number of those north and south pole individual magnet. To do it, the coil will have to approach and enter the U-shaped magnet, DUT. When the coil reaches the middle of the zero-shaped magnet, the limit is there, so the funning of the currents stop. In the core and the coil there is plenty of those little magnets, but they drop to run through the wire lengthwise. Now they run only across the coils. 8 equals V. To make the magnets run in the wire lengthwise again, the coil will have to get EY from the U-shaped magnet. As soon as the coil begins to move away from the U-shaped magnet, then shows it'll north and south pole individual magnets begin to sinvaging through the wire lengthwise, but in opposite direction until the magnets in the iron core are gone. Amori Comer London Irene, Mokos SHS7X told you that the coil is a magnet during the time the currents are made. Now I will show you. Get a snail paper box to go in between the prongs of the U-shaped magnet, put Ixon filings in it. Liz up 6-inch long soft iron wire with paper. Put the wire in box in iron filings, low put the box between the U-shaped sagnet prongs. False the wires up, then you will send filing strands clinging to the denulated RON wire. Plus raise the wire up slowly, then the filing strand will sag and fail. Copyright. Take the box out. Put the wire in the filings again, phase up, and you will see that the wire is no magnet. But during the time it was between the U-shaped magnet prongs, it was a magnet. This shows that during the time the coil moves through the U-shaped magnet, the coil becomes a magnet, but ETA function is double. Some individual north and south pole magnets run through the coil's wire crosswise, and some run through the coil's wire lengthwise. EA trademark \we asterisk EE baby. You think that it is not fair to use Tron wire to demonstrate how magnetic currents tire nade, but one can tell you that if F40 not use iron core dollar and the coil I can make no error of. The Nantic Cur stay with soft iron wire coil than I can with copper wire coil. So you see joie techie good to use iron vis to demonstrate how magnetic currents are fade. You see do the same thing with the copper wire in using iron filings, but only on adenailer seed. Nay ersmd errol, fo ce she's rad. You saw how the magnets are running through a wire crosswise. Now I will tell you how they are running through the wire lengthwise. Before the magnets start to run through the wire lengthwise, they are lined up in a square across the wire. One side of the wire is north pole magnet side and the other side is south pole magnet side. Of when the coil begins to approach the needle of the U-shaped magnet and the currents begin to run, then the magnets which are in the wire begin to slant. North pole magnets pointing east, the same as the coil's wire end, where the north pole magnet current came out, and south pole magnets pointing west, the same as the coil's wire end, where the south pole magnet current came out. Lie and the coil reaches the midi of the zero-shaped magnet, then the currents stop to run. Now the north and south pole magnets are pointing across the wire fine in the coil too, begging to move away from the middle of the U-shaped magnet, and the currents begin to run. Then the magnets which are in the wire begin to slant, but this time the north pole magnets are pointing west, the same. Coil's wire end where the north pole magnet current cone out, and south pole magnets pointing east, the same as the coil's wire end where the south pole magnet current came out. I.e. then the coil moves out of the U-shaped magnet's effective distance, the currents running stop. This is the way the alternating currents are made. AP Comren. And the individual north and south pole magnets are running through a wire. They are running in slant and whirling around while running ahead. 3RX. You can see the slant by watching the sparks when you are putting together and pulling away soft iron wire ends which are connected to the battery by their other ends OS registered. To see how the currents are running out of the coil's wire, watch those cis-1 thon-tong magnets which lie on the glass. Copyright. Put those magnets together with ends even, then let them loose, be stronger, then you will see that they will roll away and SF the magnets. They will roll away farther. High is the way the north and south pole individual magnets are running out of the coil's wire lengthwise. 26. The Zezin, the north and south pole individual magnets do not run across through the coil's wire as fast out ag they ruin while the coil is between the U-shaped magnet. The coil's wire pound s insulated, there is an air space around every wire, and it is known that the dry air is the best obstruction for the magnets to go through, and as you know the coil ie well insulated so the damp air does not get FNTEIG. Well know that it is many times easier for the magnets to run in metal than in air. You know how the alternating magnetic currents are made. You have been wondering why alternating currents can run so far away from their generators. One reason is between every time the currents start and stop there is no pressure GNK wire, so the magnets from the air run in the wire, and when the run starts there already are magnets in the wire which do not have to cone from the generator. 96. The power line ITLF is a exalt generator which assists the big generator to furnish the magnet for the currents to run with. One have a generator that generates currents on a solid scale from the air without losing any magnets around it. Another thing, you have been wondering how a U-shaped permanent magnet can keep at normal strength indefinitely. You know the soft iron does not hold magnets, but you already have one that holds IC. TT is the perpetual motion holder. It illustrates the principle how permanent magnets are made. All that has to be done, i.e. to start the magnets to run in on orbit, then they will never stop. My WV8 magnets have a broken orbit, but under proper conditions it is one thing the structure of the metal is the answer. I have two U-shaped magnets, they look alike, but one is slightly harder than the other. The harder one can tip 3 pounds more than the softer one. I have been tempering the other steel magnets, and have noticed that the harder the steel gets the smaller it become. That shows that the metal is more packed and has less holes in it, so the magnets cannot pass through it in full speed, so they dan up in the prong ends. They come FN faster than they can get out. One think the idea for the soft steel welding rod to hold magnets is in the metal's fine structure. The reason I call the results of north and south pole magnets functions magnetic currents and not electric currents or electricity is the electricity is connected too much with those non-existing electrons. If it had been called magneticity, then T would accept it. Magneticity would indicate that it has a magnetic base, and so it would be alright. Assert come New York EDAD Lena, SOC GE 1985. As I said in the beginning, the north and south pole magnets, they are the cosmic force. They hold together this earth and everything on it, and they hold the moon together too. The moon's north end holds south pole magnets the same as the earth's north end. The moon's south end holds north pole the same as the earth's south end. Those people who have been wondering why the moon does not come down, all they have to do is to give the moon 1/2 of a turn S0, that the north end would be in south side, and the south end in the north side, and then the moon would come down. At present the earth and moon have like magnet poles in the same side, so their own magnet poles keep them apart, but when the poles are reversed, then they will pull together. Here is a good tip to the rocket people. Make the rocket's head strong north pole magnet, and the tail end strong south pole magnet, and then lock on the moon's north end, then you will have better success. North and south pole magnets are not only holding together the earth and moon, but they are turning the earth around on its axis. Those magnets which are coming from the sun are hitting their own end of magnets which are circulating around the earth, and they hit more on the east side than on the west side, and that is what makes the earth turn around. North and south pole magnets make the lightning. In Earth's north hemisphere the south pole magnets are going up and the north pole magnets are coming down in the same flash. The north lights are caused by the north and south pole magnets passing in concentrated streams, but the streams are not as much concentrated. They are in the lightning. The radio waves are made by the north and south pole magnet. Now about the magnet size. You know sunlight can go through glass, paper, and leaves, but it cannot go through wood, rock, and iron, but the magnets can go through everything. This a house that each magnet is smaller than each particle of light.
Boom.